You wake up every morning carrying the weight of unfulfilled potential. You feel it in your chest, that quiet ache of knowing you were meant for something greater, yet you continue living as if your dreams are negotiable. You scroll through success stories of others, feeling that familiar mixture of inspiration and defeat, secretly wondering if your time has already passed. But what if I told you that your greatest victory is not some distant possibility waiting for the perfect moment, the right connection, or a stroke of luck? What if your triumph already exists, fully formed, on a plane of reality your conscious mind has never learned to access? Today you will discover the most powerful secret I have ever uncovered in my decades of studying the minds of the most successful people who ever lived. You will learn to act as if you have already won, because in the realm where all achievement is born, you have. Your subconscious mind, that fertile soil of infinite possibility, cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined reality and physical fact. It accepts whatever identity you feed it and then works tirelessly, every second of every day, to reshape your external world to match that internal truth. This is not positive thinking. This is not wishful dreaming. This is the scientific application of mental laws that govern every fortune ever built and every dream ever realized. By the end of this video, you will not simply hope for success. You will embody it. You will walk differently, speak differently, and make decisions from the unshakable, knowing that your victory is inevitable because it has already occurred. The person you are becoming is not some future version of yourself. That person is you, right now, waiting to be awakened. Are you ready to stop postponing your greatness and start living from your victory? Then stay with me, because what you are about to learn will shatter every limitation you have accepted about what is possible for your life. If this resonates with the fire in your soul, subscribe now and join the ranks of those who refuse to settle for anything less than their destiny. Number 1. The trap of waiting for proof. You sit in the shadow of your own potential, waiting for the bank account to grow before you dare call yourself financially free, waiting for the promotion before you carry yourself like a leader, waiting for others to see your worth before you believe it yourself. This waiting has become your prison, and you have handed the keys to circumstances beyond your control. I have studied the minds of over 500 of the most successful individuals who ever walked this earth, and I can tell you with absolute certainty that this waiting is the silent killer of dreams. It is the invisible force that keeps millions of capable people living far beneath their potential, forever dependent on external validation for their sense of worth and possibility. The trap of waiting for proof is more than procrastination. It is a fundamental misunderstanding of how success actually works. You believe that achievement creates confidence, that money creates the feeling of wealth, that recognition creates self-respect, but you have it backwards. The truth is far more powerful and far more liberating than you realize. Picture a seed buried in dark soil. Does it wait for the flower to bloom before it begins to grow? Does it demand proof of spring before it sends out its first tender shoot? No. The seed contains within itself the complete blueprint of what it will become, and it acts on that blueprint long before there is any external evidence of its destiny. The seed knows what it is, and it grows from that knowing. You are that seed. Within your mind right now exists the complete blueprint of every success you have ever dreamed of achieving. But instead of acting from that blueprint, you wait for the world to give you permission to become who you already are. I once knew a young man who worked as a clerk in a small hardware store. Every day he served customers while burning with an inner vision of owning a chain of stores across the state. But he made a critical error. He waited for his first store to become profitable before he would allow himself to think like a successful business owner. He waited for customers to respect him before he carried himself with the confidence of a leader. He waited for proof. Years passed. The vision faded. The fire dimmed. He remained a clerk because he refused to claim the identity that would have made his dreams inevitable. He had confused humility with self-denial, and it cost him everything he could have become. The moment of transformation comes when you realize that proof is not the beginning of belief, but the result of it. External success is not the cause of inner confidence, but the natural expression of it. The wealthy do not feel wealthy because they have money. They have money because they feel wealthy. The leaders do not act with authority because others follow them. Others follow them because they act with authority. This is the great reversal of understanding that separates those who achieve from those who merely hope. You must first become in consciousness what you seek to become in manifestation. You must think from your success, not toward it. Stop waiting for the world to convince you of your worth. The world is waiting for you to convince it. Stop looking for external proof of your potential. Your potential exists independently of proof, and it is this independence that gives you the power to create the very evidence you have been waiting for. The question is not whether you are ready for success. The question is whether success is ready for the person you are willing to become right now, in this moment, without a single piece of external evidence to support your transformation. Your greatness does not require the world's permission. It requires only your recognition of what has always been true. Number 2, how successful people think. There is a secret that runs through the minds of every person who has ever built an empire, every individual who has ever transformed an industry, every soul who has ever risen from obscurity to leave an indelible mark on the world. It is not what you think. It is not superior intelligence, inherited wealth, or fortunate circumstances. It is something far more profound and far more accessible to you right now than any of these external factors. When I sat across from Andrew Carnegie in his mansion, studying the mind that had built one of the greatest fortunes in human history, I discovered something that shocked me. This man did not think like someone who had become successful. He thought like someone who had always been successful. Even when he was a poor immigrant boy working in a cotton factory for pennies a day, something in his consciousness already knew he was destined for greatness. Henry Ford carried himself with the quiet confidence of a man who had already revolutionized transportation before he ever built his first automobile. Thomas Edison approached each experiment not as a struggling inventor hoping for a breakthrough, but as a man who already knew that breakthrough was inevitable. These men shared a common trait that distinguished them from every person who dreams but never achieves. They lived the identity of success before they possessed any external evidence of it. This is the great divide between those who achieve and those who merely aspire. Most people think that identity follows achievement. They believe they will feel successful when they become successful, that they will think like winners when they start winning, that they will carry themselves with confidence when they have something to be confident about. But the men and women who actually reach the heights of human achievement understand a truth that revolutionizes everything. Identity does not follow achievement. Achievement follows identity. Consider the mind of a master chess player sitting down to a game. Does he wait to see how the first few moves unfold before he decides whether he is capable of winning? Does he allow his opponent's opening strategy to determine his sense of his own skill? No. He sits down already knowing he is a master, already carrying the consciousness of victory, already thinking from the end result he intends to create. His moves flow from this inner certainty, and it is this certainty that makes victory inevitable. You have been approaching your life like an amateur approaching a master's game. You wait to see what happens before you decide who you are. You allow circumstances to dictate your sense of possibility. You think toward your goals instead of thinking from them. And this reversal of the natural order of success has kept you trapped in patterns of limitation that have nothing to do with your actual potential. I studied a woman who built a business empire from nothing. When I asked her about the early days when she was working from her kitchen table with no employees and no capital, she said something that revealed the secret of her eventual success. She told me, "I never felt like I was building a business. I felt like I was running a business that just happened to be small at the moment." She was not hoping to become an entrepreneur. She was already an entrepreneur whose enterprise was simply in its early stages of physical manifestation. This is how reality actually works. The external world is not the creator of your internal experience. Your internal experience is the creator of your external world. The successful do not feel successful because they have achieved success. They achieve success because they feel successful. They do not act with confidence because they have reasons to be confident. They have reasons to be confident because they act with confidence. The shift happens the moment you stop trying to become what you want to be and start being what you want to become. The moment you stop thinking toward your success and start thinking from your success. The moment you realize that the person capable of achieving your dreams is not some future version of yourself, but the person you are right now, waiting to be acknowledged and expressed. Reality follows identity like a shadow follows the body. Change your identity, and your reality has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the new pattern you are projecting from the depth of your consciousness. The successful understand this law, and they use it to bend the world to their vision. Now it is time for you to understand it too. Number 3, subconscious mind and self-suggestion. Beneath the surface of your conscious awareness lies a force more powerful than any external circumstance you will ever encounter. It is working right now, every second of every day, shaping your reality with absolute precision. It never sleeps, never doubts, never questions. It simply accepts whatever blueprint you give it and works tirelessly to make that blueprint your lived experience. This force is your subconscious mind, and it holds the key to every transformation you have ever desired. Your subconscious mind is like the most fertile soil on earth. It does not judge the seeds you plant in it. It does not question whether those seeds deserve to grow. It simply nourishes whatever you place within it with the same devoted energy, whether you plant weeds or roses, whether you sow thoughts of limitation or abundance, whether you feed it images of failure or success. It is completely impartial, completely obedient, and completely powerful. Here is what most people fail to understand about this remarkable faculty of mind. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. To your subconscious mind, a thought charged with emotion is as real as any fact in the material world. A mental image held with intensity and repetition is as concrete as any building made of steel and stone. This is not mystical theory. This is scientific fact, and it is the foundation upon which every great achievement in human history has been built. When you repeatedly tell yourself, with feeling and conviction, that you are successful, your subconscious mind accepts this as literal truth. It does not argue. It does not demand proof. It does not wait for external confirmation. It simply begins the process of rearranging your thoughts, your actions, your perceptions, and eventually your entire reality to align with this new truth you have given it. This is why affirmations work when they are done correctly, and why they fail when they are done mechanically. The subconscious mind responds not to words alone, but to words charged with emotional intensity. It responds not to casual thoughts, but to thoughts repeated with conviction and persistence. It responds not to wishes and hopes, but to declarations and commands delivered with the authority of absolute belief. I knew a man who transformed his entire financial situation through the disciplined use of this principle. Every morning for 6 months, he would stand before his mirror and declare with passionate conviction, "I am a wealthy man. Money flows to me easily and abundantly. I think like a wealthy man. I act like a wealthy man. I am a wealthy man." At first, his conscious mind protested. His bank account seemed to mock him. His circumstances appeared to contradict every word he spoke. But he persisted. Day after day, with growing emotional intensity, he impressed upon his subconscious mind the image of himself as a man of wealth. Gradually, something began to shift. His posture changed. His decision-making process improved. Opportunities that had always existed but had been invisible to him suddenly became apparent. Within 1 year, his income had tripled. Within 2 years, he had achieved the financial independence he had been programming into his subconscious mind. This was not magic. This was mental law in operation. His subconscious mind, accepting the repeated suggestion of wealth, began to filter his perceptions, guide his actions, and attract circumstances that were in harmony with the new image it had accepted as real. The process of visualization works on the same principle, but with even greater power. When you create a detailed mental movie of your success, when you see yourself living the life you desire with clarity and precision, when you feel the emotions of achievement as if they were happening right now, you are not merely daydreaming. You are programming your subconscious mind with a blueprint it will work day and night to manifest in your physical reality. Your subconscious mind is your most faithful servant and your most powerful ally, but it is also completely indiscriminating. It will just as faithfully manifest poverty as prosperity, failure as success, sickness as health. It manifests whatever you give it the most emotional attention to, whether positive or negative, whether consciously chosen or unconsciously absorbed. This is why self-suggestion is not optional for anyone who seeks to rise above their current circumstances. This is why visualization is not a luxury, but a necessity. This is why the conscious control of your inner dialogue is the most important skill you can ever develop. You are always programming your subconscious mind. The only question is whether you are doing it deliberately or accidentally. Stop leaving the programming of your most powerful faculty to chance. Stop feeding your subconscious mind with the mental garbage of worry, fear, and limitation. Begin today to consciously plant the seeds of the reality you choose to create. Your subconscious mind is waiting for your instructions. Give it the blueprint of your success and watch as it transforms your entire world to match the vision you have dared to claim as your own. Number 4, building the new self. The person you have been is not the person you are destined to become. Between who you are today and who you must become to achieve your greatest dreams lies a bridge that must be built with precise intention, unwavering discipline, an absolute commitment to a daily practice that most people are unwilling to embrace. This bridge is not built with hopes and wishes. It is built with the 4 pillars of transformation that have supported every great achievement in human history. You cannot stumble into a new identity by accident. You cannot wish yourself into a higher level of being. You cannot transform through good intentions alone. Transformation requires a systematic approach, a daily discipline, a relentless commitment to specific practices that gradually reshape the very foundation of who you believe yourself to be. Most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack a process. The first pillar of your new self is a definite chief aim. Not a vague wish, not a someday dream, not a wouldn't it be nice fantasy, but a specific, written, emotionally charged declaration of exactly what you intend to achieve, by when, and how you will know when you have achieved it. Your subconscious mind cannot work with generalities. It requires precision, clarity, and specific targets to aim toward. Sit down right now and write out your definite chief aim with mathematical precision. If you desire wealth, specify the exact amount. If you seek a career change, name the position, the company, the salary. If you want to build a business, describe the revenue, the impact, the timeline. Your goal must be so clear that a stranger could read it and know exactly what success looks like for you. Anything less than this level of clarity is an invitation for your subconscious mind to wander aimlessly, producing results as vague as your intentions. The second pillar is daily visualization. Every morning before the world intrudes with its demands and distractions, you must spend time in the mental realm where your success already exists. Close your eyes and create a detailed mental movie of yourself living your definite chief aim. See yourself in the environment of your success. Feel the emotions of achievement. Hear the sounds, notice the details, experience the satisfaction of goals accomplished. This is not daydreaming. This is mental rehearsal. Athletes who visualize their performance improve their actual performance. Surgeons who mentally rehearse complex procedures perform those procedures with greater skill. Business leaders who visualize successful presentations deliver those presentations with greater impact. Your mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. Use this fact to your advantage. The third pillar is the repetition of affirmations charged with belief and emotion. Your inner dialogue is the programming language of your subconscious mind. If you allow it to run unconsciously, it will repeat the same limiting beliefs, the same fearful thoughts, the same small-minded assumptions that have kept you trapped in your current reality. You must take conscious control of this dialogue and replace it with declarations that support your new identity. Create affirmations that declare your new reality as if it already exists. I am wealthy. I am successful. I am confident. I am worthy of my dreams. Repeat these statements with conviction, with feeling, with the emotional intensity of someone stating an obvious fact. The more emotion you inject into these repetitions, the faster your subconscious mind will accept them as true. The fourth pillar is the discipline of mental hygiene. You must guard your mind as carefully as you would guard your most precious possession, because that is exactly what it is. Every piece of information you consume, every conversation you engage in, every thought you entertain is either supporting your new identity or undermining it. There is no neutral ground. Stop consuming news that fills your mind with fear and limitation. Stop engaging in conversations that drain your energy and lower your vision. Stop entertaining thoughts that contradict the person you are becoming. Your mind is not a garbage dump for society's negativity. It is the sacred space where your future is being created. Treat it with the respect it deserves. These four pillars work together to create a foundation strong enough to support any level of success you can imagine. But they only work if you work them. They only function if you function with them. They only create results if you create the discipline to apply them consistently, daily, without exception. I have seen people transform their entire lives in a matter of months through the faithful application of these principles. I have also seen people waste years because they applied them half-heartedly, inconsistently, or with the expectation of immediate results. The choice between transformation and stagnation is not a choice you make once. It is a choice you make every morning when you decide whether or not to engage in the daily practices that build the bridge to your new self. Your current reality is the result of your past thinking and believing. Your future reality will be the result of the thinking and believing you choose to embrace starting today. The old self that has brought you this far cannot take you where you want to go. It is time to consciously, deliberately, systematically build the new self that can. Number 5, burning desire and anticipatory faith. There is a difference between wanting something and needing something with every fiber of your being. There is a chasm between hoping for a better future and demanding it from the depths of your soul. There is a universe of difference between casual interest and burning desire, and this difference determines whether you join the ranks of the successful or remain forever in the crowd of the hopeful. Burning desire is not a gentle wish or a pleasant preference. It is a consuming fire that makes your goal as necessary to you as air is to a drowning man. It is an obsession that transforms every obstacle into a stepping stone, every setback into a setup for a comeback, every moment of doubt into fuel for greater determination. Without this level of desire, all the techniques and strategies in the world will fail you. With it, nothing can stop you. I have studied the biographies of hundreds of successful individuals, and in every case, beneath the surface of their achievements, I discovered this same white-hot core of desire. Henry Ford's burning desire to put a car in every garage sustained him through years of ridicule and failure. Thomas Edison's burning desire to bring electric light to the world carried him through 10,000 failed experiments. Andrew Carnegie's burning desire to build an empire pushed him from poverty to becoming one of the richest men who ever lived. This burning desire is not created by thinking about what you want. It is created by thinking about why you must have it. It is created by connecting your goal to something larger than your personal comfort, something that touches the core of your identity, something that makes success not just desirable, but absolutely necessary for your survival as the person you know yourself to be. You must find the why that burns within you. Perhaps it is the desire to provide a life of abundance for your family. Perhaps it is the need to prove to yourself that you are capable of greatness. Perhaps it is the calling to make a contribution that outlasts your lifetime. Whatever it is, it must be personal, it must be powerful, and it must touch something so deep within you that the thought of not achieving it becomes unbearable. But burning desire alone, though necessary, is not sufficient. It must be coupled with what I call anticipatory faith. This is the ability to feel grateful for your success before it manifests in the physical world. This is the capacity to live in a state of thankfulness for achievements that exist only in the realm of possibility. This is the art of celebrating your victory while you are still fighting the battle. Anticipatory faith transforms your entire vibrational relationship with success. Instead of approaching your goals from a position of lack, desperately hoping they will fill the void within you, you approach them from a position of abundance, already feeling complete and grateful for what is coming. This shift in your emotional state changes everything about how you pursue your objectives. When you operate from anticipatory faith, you make decisions differently. You act with the confidence of someone who knows the outcome is assured. You take risks that seem impossible to those who are hoping for success, but which seem natural to someone who is already grateful for it. You attract opportunities, relationships, and resources that are in harmony with your elevated emotional state. I knew a woman who wanted to start her own business but had no capital, no experience, and no connections in her chosen industry. But she had something more powerful than any of these external resources. She had burning desire, coupled with anticipatory faith. Every morning, she would spend time in gratitude for the successful business she was building. She would thank God for the clients who would find her, for the profits that would flow, for the impact she would make. Her friends thought she was deluding herself. Her family worried about her sanity. But within 18 months, she had built exactly the business she had been grateful for. The capital came through an unexpected inheritance. The experience came through a mentor who appeared in her life seemingly by chance. The connections materialized through a series of coincidental meetings that were anything but coincidental. This is how anticipatory faith works. It aligns your consciousness with the frequency of your desired outcome. It shifts you from the vibration of I want to the vibration of I have. And in making this shift, you begin to magnetize the very things you have been grateful for in advance. The practice of anticipatory faith requires you to live in two realities simultaneously. In the physical reality, you acknowledge where you are now, you take practical action, you deal with current circumstances. But in the mental and emotional reality, you live as if your success has already occurred. You feel the gratitude, you experience the satisfaction, you enjoy the sense of accomplishment that comes with achieved goals. This is not self-deception, this is self-direction. You are not pretending that your current circumstances are different than they are. You are choosing to align your inner state with the future you are creating rather than the past you are leaving behind. You are deciding to feel successful while you are becoming successful, rather than waiting to feel successful only after you have become successful. Burning desire gives you the energy to persist through any obstacle. Anticipatory faith gives you the emotional state that attracts your desires to you. Together, they create an unstoppable force that transforms possibilities into inevitabilities. Together, they give you the power to live your way into your dreams rather than just thinking your way toward them. Number 6, mastermind and environment. You are not an island. You are not meant to achieve greatness in isolation. You are not designed to carry the entire weight of your dreams on your shoulders alone. The greatest achievements in human history have never been solo performances. They have been symphonies conducted by individuals who understood the power of harmonious alliance with other minds committed to similar levels of excellence and achievement. The mastermind principle is one of the most powerful forces available to you, yet it is also one of the most misunderstood and underutilized. A mastermind is not merely a group of people who meet regularly to share ideas. It is not a networking group or a social club or a casual gathering of like-minded individuals. A true mastermind is the coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people who work in perfect harmony toward the achievement of a definite purpose. When minds come together in this spirit of harmonious cooperation, something remarkable happens. A third mind emerges, a collective intelligence that is greater than the sum of its individual parts. This invisible force multiplies the creative power, the problem-solving ability, and the achievement potential of every person involved. It creates a synergy that can accomplish in months what would take years to achieve alone. Andrew Carnegie understood this principle better than perhaps anyone who ever lived. He surrounded himself with a mastermind alliance of over 50 men, each a specialist in his particular field, each committed to the achievement of Carnegie's definite major purpose. Carnegie himself admitted that he knew very little about the technical aspects of steel production, yet he built one of the greatest steel empires in history through the coordinated efforts of minds more knowledgeable than his own in specific areas. The power of the mastermind extends far beyond the mere sharing of knowledge and resources. When you surround yourself with people who share your vision, who believe in your potential, who refuse to accept limitations as permanent realities, their faith becomes a force that strengthens your own. Their certainty reinforces your certainty. Their persistence encourages your persistence. Their success inspires your success. But choose your mastermind alliance carefully. Not everyone who claims to want success actually wants it. Not everyone who talks about achievement is willing to pay the price for it. Not everyone who appears supportive will remain supportive when your success begins to surpass their own. You must align yourself with people whose commitment to excellence matches your own, whose integrity is unquestionable, whose vision is large enough to accommodate your success without feeling threatened by it. I have seen mastermind alliances create millionaires from ordinary people with extraordinary commitment. I have witnessed the transformation that occurs when individuals stop trying to succeed alone and start succeeding together. But I have also seen the destruction that occurs when the wrong people are allowed into this sacred circle of mutual support and shared vision. Your environment extends beyond your mastermind alliance to include every influence that touches your consciousness on a regular basis. The books you read, the music you listen to, the conversations you engage in, the places you spend your time, the images you allow into your visual field. All of these elements are either supporting your transformation or undermining it. There is no neutral influence. Everything is either lifting you up or pulling you down. If you want to think like a successful person, you must immerse yourself in the ideas, the language, the perspectives of successful people. If you want to develop the habits of achievement, you must surround yourself with people who have already developed those habits. If you want to maintain the emotional state of someone who is destined for greatness, you must create an environment that constantly reinforces that emotional state. This may require you to make some difficult choices. You may need to limit your time with people who consistently complain, criticize, and focus on problems rather than solutions. You may need to change your media consumption habits, eliminating sources of information that fill your mind with fear, negativity, and limitation. You may need to upgrade your physical environment to reflect the level of success you are claiming for yourself. These changes may seem superficial to those who do not understand the subtle but powerful influence of environment on consciousness, but they are not superficial. They are fundamental. Your environment is constantly programming your subconscious mind with messages about what is possible for you, what is normal for you, what you deserve, what you can expect from life. I knew a man who transformed his entire career by making one simple environmental change. He moved his office from a basement room in his house to a professional building downtown. The change in environment changed his perspective, which changed his behavior, which changed his results. Within 6 months, his income had doubled. Within a year, he had built the business he had been dreaming about for a decade. Your mastermind alliance and your environment work together to create the supportive structure that makes sustained achievement possible. They provide the external reinforcement for the internal transformation you are creating through your thoughts, beliefs, and daily practices. They create a field of possibility that makes your success feel natural, inevitable, and fully supported. You cannot afford to leave these powerful influences to chance. You cannot afford to remain in environments that contradict your vision or maintain relationships that undermine your growth. Your success is too important to be left at the mercy of negative influences that can be eliminated through conscious choice and deliberate action. Build your mastermind alliance with the same care you would use to select the foundation for your dream home. Create your environment with the same precision you would use to design a laboratory for breakthrough discoveries. Your outer world must match your inner vision if that vision is to become your lived reality. Number 7. Failures as growth triggers. Every seeming failure carries within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. Every setback is actually a setup for a comeback of magnificent proportions. Every temporary defeat contains within its harsh exterior a gift that, when properly understood and utilized, becomes the very force that propels you to heights you could never have reached without it. This is not positive thinking. This is the recognition of a fundamental law of achievement that separates those who rise to greatness from those who remain forever defeated by their first significant obstacle. Most people experience failure as an ending. They see it as evidence that they are not cut out for success, proof that their dreams were unrealistic, confirmation that they should lower their expectations and settle for less. They allow temporary defeat to become permanent failure, because they have never learned to look beyond the surface of their setbacks to find the treasure that lies buried within every apparent loss. But the individuals who achieve lasting success understand that failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is an essential ingredient in success. It is the teacher that success cannot be. It is the revealer of weaknesses that success would never expose. It is the builder of character that success alone could never develop. It is the forge in which the iron of determination is heated until it becomes the steel of unstoppable persistence. When Thomas Edison's laboratory burned to the ground, destroying years of work and millions of dollars worth of equipment, his son found him standing in the ashes, not in despair, but in fascination. Edison told his son to go get his mother and the other family members because they would never see such a spectacular fire again. Then he said something that revealed the secret of his incredible resilience. All our mistakes are burned up. Thank God we can start fresh. That fire, which appeared to be a devastating setback, actually freed Edison from the burden of past failures and allowed him to approach his work with renewed energy and fresh perspective. Within 3 weeks, he had developed the phonograph, one of his most profitable inventions. The apparent catastrophe had become the catalyst for breakthrough innovation. This is the pattern of all great achievement. What appears to be failure is actually redirection. What feels like defeat is actually preparation. What seems like an ending is actually a beginning in disguise. But this transformation only occurs for those who have trained themselves to ask the right question when faced with apparent failure. The question is not, why did this happen to me? The question is not, how can I avoid this in the future? The question is not, what did I do wrong? These questions keep you trapped in the problem and blind to the opportunity. The transformative question, the question that turns failure into fuel for future success, is this: what is the hidden gift in this experience, and how can I use it to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than I was before? Every failure contains at least 3 gifts if you know how to look for them. The first gift is the revelation of a weakness in your approach, your preparation, or your understanding that you can now address and correct. The second gift is the development of resilience, persistence, and character that can only come through adversity. The third gift is often the most valuable, the redirection toward a path that will ultimately prove to be better than the one you were originally pursuing. I knew a woman who lost her job during an economic downturn and initially felt devastated by what appeared to be a catastrophic setback. But instead of wallowing in self-pity or frantically searching for another similar position, she used the experience as an opportunity to examine what she really wanted from her career. She realized that she had been staying in a job that no longer fulfilled her out of fear and habit. The job loss, which initially seemed like a disaster, became the force that pushed her to start the business she had been dreaming about for years but had been too comfortable to pursue. Within 2 years, she was earning more than she had ever earned as an employee and had created something that provided her with meaning, fulfillment, and unlimited growth potential. The failure that appeared to end one chapter of her life actually began the most successful chapter. This reframing of failure requires a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of seeing setbacks as evidence that you should quit, you must train yourself to see them as evidence that you are being prepared for something greater. Instead of interpreting obstacles as signs that you are on the wrong path, you must learn to see them as signs that you are getting closer to your destination. The path to extraordinary achievement is never a straight line. It is a winding road filled with unexpected turns, sudden stops, and apparent dead ends that turn out to be detours leading to destinations more magnificent than you originally imagined. Those who understand this navigate the journey with patience, persistence, and an unshakable faith that every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, is serving their ultimate purpose. Failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher, your trainer, your redirector, and your catalyst for growth. It is the force that separates those who are merely interested in success from those who are committed to it. It is the test that reveals whether your desire is strong enough to carry you through the inevitable challenges that stand between where you are and where you want to be. Embrace your failures as friends in disguise. Welcome your setbacks as setups for success. Thank your obstacles for the strength they are building within you. And always remember that the difference between those who achieve and those who abandon their dreams is not the presence or absence of failure, but the response to failure when it appears on their path to greatness. Number 8, final act. Declare your identity. There comes a moment in every transformation when all the learning, all the understanding, all the preparation must crystallize into a single, decisive act of self-declaration. There comes a point when you must stop being someone who is becoming successful and start being someone who is successful. There comes a time when you must cease preparing for greatness and begin living as greatness. That moment is now. Everything you have learned means nothing until you claim it as your identity. Every principle you have studied remains powerless until you embody it as your truth. Every technique you have practiced stays dormant until you activate it through the courage of self-declaration. The knowledge that sits unused in your mind is like a seed that refuses to be planted. It contains infinite potential, but it produces no harvest. You stand at the threshold between who you have been and who you are destined to become. Behind you lies a lifetime of conditioning, programming, and accepted limitations that have kept you smaller than your potential. Before you lies the unlimited possibility of a life lived from the highest vision of what you can achieve, contribute, and become. The bridge between these two realities is not built with more learning, more planning, or more preparation. It is built with a single powerful act of self-declaration. When you declare, "I am a winner," you are not stating a hope or expressing a wish. You are claiming an identity. You are announcing to the universe, to your subconscious mind, and to every force that influences your destiny that you have chosen to align yourself with the frequency of success. You are drawing a line in the sand of your consciousness and saying that you will no longer accept anything less than the full expression of your potential. This declaration is not about your past achievements or your current circumstances. It is about your chosen identity moving forward. It is about the person you are deciding to be, regardless of what has happened before this moment. It is about claiming your membership in the ranks of those who refuse to be defeated by temporary setbacks, who refuse to be discouraged by current appearances, who refuse to accept limitations as permanent realities. Words have power. When spoken with conviction, with emotion, with the full force of your will behind them, words become creative forces that shape reality. When you declare, "I am a winner," you are not just making a statement. You are issuing a command to your subconscious mind. You are programming your internal guidance system with a new set of instructions. You are aligning your consciousness with the vibration of victory. But this declaration must be more than words. It must be a commitment to live, think, act, and respond as a winner in every situation you encounter. It means approaching challenges with the confidence of someone who knows that every obstacle is temporary and every setback is a setup for a comeback. It means making decisions from strength rather than from fear, from possibility rather than from limitation, from faith rather than from doubt. I have witnessed the transformative power of this moment of declaration in hundreds of lives. I have seen people who struggled for years with self-doubt and limitation suddenly break through to levels of success they had only dreamed of, all because they finally had the courage to declare their true identity. I have watched ordinary individuals become extraordinary achievers simply by claiming, with conviction and commitment, that they are winners. The declaration, "I am a winner," is not a statement of arrogance. It is a statement of alignment with the success principles that govern achievement. It is a recognition that you have been created with the capacity for greatness, and that you are choosing to honor that capacity through your thoughts, beliefs, and actions. It is an acknowledgement that winning is not something that happens to you, but something that happens through you. This moment of declaration creates what I call the point of no return. Once you have truly, deeply, completely claimed your identity as a winner, you cannot go back to the old patterns of thinking and being that kept you trapped in mediocrity. Your subconscious mind, having accepted this new truth about who you are, will begin to reject thoughts, beliefs, and actions that are inconsistent with your declared identity. You will find yourself naturally gravitating toward decisions that support your success. You will discover resources and opportunities that were always there but were invisible to your previous level of consciousness. You will attract relationships and circumstances that are in harmony with your new identity. You will become a magnet for the very things you need to transform your declaration into your lived reality. The time for hesitation is over. The time for doubt is finished. The time for small thinking has passed. You have been given everything you need to create the life you desire. You have been shown the principles that govern success. You have been taught the practices that transform potential into reality. Now you must take the final step. Now you must make the declaration that changes everything. Say it now with conviction, with passion, with the absolute certainty of someone stating an obvious truth. I am a winner. Feel the power of those words as they reshape your consciousness. Experience the shift in your energy as you align with your true identity. Embrace the transformation that begins the moment you have the courage to claim who you really are. You are not limited by your past. You are not defined by your current circumstances. You are not bound by the opinions of others or the limitations they would place upon you. You are a winner, and winners find a way to win regardless of the obstacles they face. This is your identity. This is your truth. This is your time. Right now, in this very moment, something profound is shifting within your consciousness. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle but unmistakable sensation of alignment, of coming home to a truth you have always known but perhaps forgotten in the noise of everyday existence. This is not the end of understanding. This is the beginning of embodiment. Picture a master sculptor standing before a block of marble. To untrained eyes, it appears to be nothing more than raw stone, but the sculptor sees something entirely different. Within that marble, the masterpiece already exists in perfect completion. The sculptor's job is not to create the statue, but to remove everything that is not the statue. Every strike of the chisel is an act of revelation, not creation. You are both the sculptor and the marble. The masterpiece of your fully realized self already exists within you, complete and perfect. Every limiting belief you release, every fearful thought you dissolve, every moment you choose to act from your victory rather than your current circumstances, you are removing another piece of stone that has been hiding your true magnificence. The person who achieves extraordinary success does not become someone new. They become who they have always been beneath the layers of doubt, conditioning, and accepted limitations. They do not develop new capabilities, so much as they uncover capabilities that were always present, waiting to be recognized and expressed. This recognition changes everything about how you move through the world. When you know that your success is not a future possibility but a present reality waiting to be unveiled, you stop searching for permission and start giving yourself commands. You stop asking if you are worthy and start acting from the knowing that worthiness is your birthright. If this truth resonates in the depths of your being, if you feel the stirring of recognition that comes with remembering who you really are, then subscribe and become part of a community that refuses to accept anything less than the full expression of human potential. Together we continue unveiling the masterpieces we were always meant to be. Your victory is not coming. Your victory is here now, waiting for you to claim it with the simple recognition that it was never actually yours to earn. It was always yours to remember.